Joining us on the line now, former offensive lineman for the Rhode Island Rams, Kyle Murphy. Kyle participated in the recent NFL Combine as you get ready for the NFL Draft coming up later this month. Kyle, first of all, how are you and your family doing during this pandemic right now?
I mean, we're doing pretty good. It's different circumstances, so, everybody doesn't really know what's going to happen. But, I mean, we're all healthy. We're all good. Kind of just all anxious for the draft coming up.
With the coronavirus keeping everyone at home, how has it affected your training and preparation for the NFL Draft?
I mean, I've really had to find new places to train and everything. I've been just going to, like, parks instead of fields and just running and training. But I actually still have a gym down the street that I've been training at, so I'm blessed to have that.
Now, Kyle, you had the opportunity to participate in the NFL Combine. What was that experience like for you?
I mean, it was really like a surreal experience because I've been watching that, probably the Combine, since I was 10 years old. And just being there on that stage, and especially with my two teammates, it was special. And just knowing that I belonged there was also a cool thing, being some of those guys I kind of almost looked up to going into college and throughout college, and just knowing that I was there with them and I was there for a reason. It was special.
Where were you when you got the invitation, and what was your reaction like when you first got it? Did you get it by email or was it a phone call? How did that process go down?
Yeah, I got it from a phone call. I just got out of training, and I thought it was actually the Colts because it was an Indianapolis number. And then when I answered the phone, they said it was a Combine and I was invited and everything. And I was just trying to basically speechless because I knew I had a real good chance of making it, but just actually getting the phone call and the invite, it was something that, like, I couldn't even really explain because I feel like I almost started tearing up a little. First thing I did was obviously call my mom. And actually, right as I got off the phone with my mom, my agent pulled up right next to me. And he didn't get the news yet, so it was kind of cool to give him the news.
Now, the Combine, it comes with, obviously it's stressors in itself. You're doing all these drills and all the, the questions from all the coaches in the meetings. What was that like? What was the most, I would say the hard part of the NFL Combine when you look back at it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people don't really see the behind the scenes of what really happens at the Combine, especially just I think the most stressful, hardest part with me was just going through all those medical checks. I feel like it was 3 long days of that. But besides that, the interviews, they go well because, you get prepped for them for weeks before, and you're ready for most of the questions, especially coming from just the East-West game. They really help you out. And you get used to the interview style and everything. So, yeah, I'd just say just all those medical checks, just long days, and you just get tired just waiting for an X-ray or an MRI. It's just long.
Now, like you said earlier, you were joined by a pair of your teammates, and Isaiah Coulter and Aaron Parker. How nice was it to go through the Combine with them, being able to know some guys, especially your teammates?
I mean, it was really special because I didn't think I was going to see him a lot through the week because we showed up on different days, but I actually did get to see him a decent amount. And just another thing was just knowing that we all deserve to be there too. And seeing all of us do pretty well in it, it was real cool. And, because I always just knew that those two are like one of the most talented receivers in this class, even though it's a big receiving class. And, yeah, just being there around them, if you just feel more comfortable.
How do you think Rhode Island will use this opportunity, the program that you guys have kind of set forward, going to the Combine and being on NFL Network? You see the Rhode Island logo on there for Rhode Island football. Where do you see all three of you, your place in Rhode Island football moving forward, since you guys kind of put the program on a national stage during this time?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely getting more exposure and we're getting noticed a lot more. We didn't obviously have the records that we always wanted to each year, but just showing you what hard work and coaching can do and how far you can become. I mean, because I feel like all three of us, we've really matured as men, but also became great football players throughout 3-4 years. And I mean, I know they just brought in a good recruiting class too. So I just feel like each year they're just going to keep bringing in bigger recruiting classes.
Now, there weren't very many guys from the FCS football at the combine. You guys were the only CAA representatives. So what was it like going head-to-head against players from the Power 5 schools?
It was like I said before, it was like a surreal experience because, I mean, like you said, there was only three of us at the combine. There should have been a lot more CAA guys, but, I mean, just being on that stage with them and competing and just going through the drills and everything. You know, some of the drills, like that was the first time I felt average because those guys, they had strength on me and some of them had speed on me too. So, I mean, it's a good experience. And like I said before, like some of those guys you looked up to going into college, but it just shows a lot when you're at the same big stage as them.
Catching up with former Rhode Island offensive lineman Kyle Murphy as he gets ready for the NFL draft. You finished your career as one of the most honored offensive linemen in Rhode Island football history. What will you remember most about your time with the Rams?
You know, just remembering the biggest thing is just remembering the brotherhood we had between my class, even the junior class and the sophomore, freshman class. We're a close-knit group, especially within the offensive linemen. And, I mean, I just feel like I've learned so much from the guys that came before me, especially some of the guys that grad transferred. But, you know, I looked up to all those guys, especially just coming in as a young freshman and just learning the ropes and everything. I just got to give a lot of credit to just my coaching and everything too, because I feel like they made me the player I am today, especially my two O-line coaches I've had. I feel like they were basically two best coaches I've had in my life. They taught me a lot, but also taught me a lot just as a man.
Do you feel like the competition in CAA football prepared you for the moments that you're about to face, especially becoming a NFL player? You mentioned it earlier. You thought maybe more CAA football players should have been at the combine. Just talk about the competition in the CAA and how it's gotten you ready for the next step.
I mean, I love the competition, especially, and the competition really showed when I went to the All-Star game because I felt that our competition was just as good as that competition at the All-Star game. And it does really get you prepared for everything else because I feel like our conference is overlooked and we could play our conference in the FBS and within a couple of years we'd do just as well as some of the other programs. So, I mean, our conference really has a lot of good teams and a lot of good opponents. So, the CAA is great.
Talking to some of the NFL scouts, either at the combine or at other places, are there any NFL linemen that they're kind of comparing you to or telling you to watch film of, or is there an NFL lineman that you try to model your game after and you feel you have a similar skill set to?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really compare me to any lineman, but they definitely just told me I'm going to be probably one of those swing guys that's going to be a guard or center. And maybe even like an emergency guy if I have to play tackle. Because, I mean, I've had a lot of experience playing all three positions. So, I mean, that's just been the biggest thing that helped me out is just being versatile. And I wouldn't say I really compared myself to these linemen, but, I mean, I always watch film with Tyron Smith on the Cowboys. And I always watch a lot of film on Jason Kelsey on the Eagles. So, I mean, I just love watching film, breaking that down, and really just learning their techniques.
Wrapping up today with former offensive lineman for the Rhode Island Rams, Kyle Murphy. Kyle, first of all, just talk about the moment, you know, of course, if your name gets called coming up in the NFL draft, and what do you plan on doing for the NFL draft? Obviously, pandemic. What are your plans? Will you be watching it, or will you try to keep your mind off of it? What do you plan to do during that time?
Oh, no, I know myself, and I know I'm obviously going to watch that. I've been watching it, like I said, probably since I was 10 or 12 years old. So, I mean, it's going to be stressful watching it, but, I mean, I feel like it's going to be exciting at the same time. And I'm just especially just going to be like a good time watching it with my family and friends. It's not going to be with too many people, but just my close family and friends. And, you know, I'm just going to stay humble no matter what happens, especially it doesn't matter to me if I get drafted or if I get picked up as a free agent after. Because, you know, now the NFL is kind of made up of more free agents than anything. So, you know, the biggest thing is just being grateful to be in this position and just staying humble.
All right. Well, Kyle Murphy, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your experience at NFL Combine. Good luck in the upcoming NFL Draft, and we hope to hear your name called.
Thank you. I appreciate that.